There are lots of different ways of editing photos that you take to help you with your artwork. And there are loads of apps that you can download onto your phone or onto your tablet. Today, though, I'm going to show you some of the basic features of Adobe Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop's a hugely powerful tool which basically allows you to do whatever you want with your images. But we're going to start really simple, and I'm just going to show you how you can merge a couple of your photos together using layers. I'll do a demonstration and then we'll have a bit of a chat about it at the end. Okay?
So I'm going to show you some of the basic features of Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to put two pictures together. And I'm going to be using layers to do that. So I've just opened it up on the default screen on Adobe Photoshop. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is choose my background. So I'm going to File, I'm going to find a picture I've already got, I'm going to open it, and I'm going to go for this landscape scene here. So I've opened that up, that's my background. I can open up the Layers tab by clicking here, and I can see that the only layer I've got available to me at the moment is that background layer. And you can see a little thumbnail of the landscape in there. So that's all I have at the moment. But I want to put another picture within that. And this is where layers comes into place. Think about layers as transparencies. So I'm opening up another picture. There it is. And I want to select that plane. I don't need all that background in there. So I'm going to go to a selection tool here, which will allow me to click and drag a rectangle around the plane just to cut out some of the sky. Now I'm going to edit and I'm going to cut that section out. Okay. Now I can go back to my original image by clicking on this tab here, and I can insert that plane over the top. So I go to paste, and there we go. Now you can see on the layers tab that I've now got another layer, layer 1, which has automatically been produced. It's light grey, which means that's the one that's active, which means all the work I do will only happen to that layer. I can make the background active instead by clicking on it. Now that's light grey, but I want layer 1 to be active at the moment. So I can drag it to where I want it to be. You can see that the blue around it, the sky around it, is wrong. It's the wrong tone, so I want to get rid of that because that spoils the illusion. Lots of different ways of doing this, and I'm not going to introduce you to all the tools. I'm just going to introduce you to a couple today, and I'm going to click on what's called the Magic Wand tool. This will select areas on the picture, on the layer that's active, that are of a similar tone and or colour. Now you can change the tolerance here by changing that number. The lower the number, the lower the tolerance, the less it will pick. The higher the number, the higher the tolerance, the more it will pick. So it will pick tones and colours that are similar to the tone or colour you've clicked on. Now 32 for what I'm doing here is absolutely fine for what I want to do. So I'll leave it as that. And if I click on here, it selects it all. I now need to delete that, and the simplest way of doing that is by just pressing delete on your keyboard. There we go, it's gone. Now that area is still selected, so I need to get rid of that selection. So I click on select, and I've deselected it. Okay. I might decide that the edges of the plane aren't quite as crisp as I want them to be, in which case I would play around, I would go back, play around with the tolerance and see if I get a better effect. There are other ways too of getting the quality of the edges right, but I'm not doing those today. Now going back to the Move tool, I can move it around to where I want it to be. I'm happy with it there, I think. I can also transform. I can change the size, the scale, the shape of the object. So I click on Edit and I go down and I've got Free Transform and then I've got Transform underneath there. I'm going to go to Transform and I'm going to click on Scale. Now this box around it, I can grab the corners and I can drag it. I can make it wider. I can invert it, turn it upside down. I've got complete freedom over what I do. So, and then I can, once again, click on the box in the center there somewhere and move it around. So I'll just leave it like that for now. Deselect again. And there we go. I've inserted relatively effectively one picture into another. Now you can have as many layers as you like. So I could put more things in, I could put trees in, I could put people in, and each layer will remain separate. When I come to save, I might decide that I want to flatten the image, and you get that option on the save screen. But for now, that's a very brief introduction to using layers.
So there you go. I only put 2 different pictures together there, but as I said, you can put as many pictures together as you want and you can have as many layers as you want. But just start simple. Just see if you can put 2 different images together to start off with. The important things to remember are that there's one layer active at a time, and that when you've finished your work, you might want to save it firstly as a JPEG. Now the JPEG will flatten the image. I mentioned flattening before, and flattening the image means that all those layers are squished together. Once you save it as a JPEG, you can't then reopen the layers. So you might want to save it as a JPEG, which is useful for putting into your documents or for printing out for your sketchbook, but also save it as a Photoshop document as well, because that retains the layers, and then if you want to, you can open it up again and keep editing. Okay, see what you can do, have fun.